don't follow the script, you don't get transfers.
People are much more motivated away from like loss than they are from gain.
Hey, Craig, let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Well, Mr. Jason, I heard that you have some more thunder from down under.
Who told you that?
A little birdie, little canary.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. The idea of inspecting what you expect.
Oh, boy.
Is something that is easier said than done, and it's something that we avoid doing. We always expect stuff out of, well, even ourselves, right? But our staff and everything. We always expect all this stuff, but we're not willing to inspect it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to managing people or even yourself, guaranteed over time, it's going to wax old. Like whatever, let's say you're on a path right now of working out every day, you're eating healthy. At some point, you're not going to.
Right.
You're human, so you have to inspect what you expect out of your team.
Yes. I did that recently.
And what did you find?
Well, Mr. Jason, so as you know, and as some folks know, I have a few new people, and we have a whole framework to what we say on the phone. There's a specific script, and I got a little bit away from it. Specific. Yes. I got a little bit away from it from doing the call reviews. So I think that what happens is humans know what's being watched and what's not being watched. And so if all of a sudden at the meetings, we're not doing hot seats because, like you said, eventually it stops, right? For whatever reason, something happened, we forgot this week. And then all of a sudden it just sort of falls off. So as the hot seats were sort of faded out, then the calls aren't necessarily being listened to as closely as they needed to be. And what happens? The script gets a little looser. Maybe they're not asking for the sale on every one of them because, when we're 4 times, do you really need to ask for it? Because they're not getting it. And all the excuses start to come in. Well, I started listening to some of these calls, and Mr. Jason, I was not pleased.
What did you find exactly?
I found that it had become very loose, and a lot of things that we need to do weren't being done, which I think for me was the most upsetting because I knew that at the end of the day, the responsibility to that fell on my shoulders. So now I'm a little frustrated with myself. So come in.
But what's the real first reaction?
Pissed off, angry.
At them.
At them, of course, right? Why won't they listen? Well,
so that's the first thing. And I think everybody does that right away, right? But then the emotional intelligence comes in a little bit from doing this for so long and stuff. And you realize what?
Yeah. Why did this happen? Well, because it's not being watched, right? And as much as we love our business and we care and we live and breathe it, something that may not have occurred to everybody is that the folks out on the floor may not share the same passion for our business as we do. Did you know that, Mr. Jason?
I've heard that somewhere.
Right.
Yes.
And they don't. Like if you gave them a list of all the things in their life and then you put their job on there, where does that fall? Right.
Right.
Even though half of their life is spent here. And so,
but it's even more than that. It's not just their job, because their job's probably up there as a whole. Like they don't want to get fired, but being good at the little details or following each little thing, that is definitely not up there for
well, it's the path of least resistance. If part of it becomes easy or isn't watched, then that part is going to be the part that becomes lazy. Right?
Right.
If there's no batting practice, then the really good hitter is not going to be hitting as well because they stop
100%.
Doing the thing that creates the outcome that they want. And so all it did, and this is what I think is also challenging and can be a little frustrating, is like you have to go back to the fundamentals, right? The fundies, as we call them. And it doesn't happen overnight, right? We want it to happen overnight. We want the instant improvement. But guess what? It took a while for the rider to fall off the horse. And now we got to get back on the horse and learn how to ride again. And that could be a little challenging, right? And especially if somebody's been around a while And now, they have really ingrained in their ways. And it also becomes something where everybody's got to do it. Everybody. You can't have one person not, because then, well, why doesn't so-and-so have to do it? Well, because it doesn't matter. Everybody has to do it, because if you don't have some kind of consistency, then it isn't going to have that outcome you need. McDonald's doesn't have the one cook that can cook the burgers better than everybody, so they let him just do it his special way, right? This is not Burger King. This is McDonald's. You can't have it your way. You have to do it the McDonald's way.
So what's motivating, right? That's the question. And I think that a lot of us think like, oh, well, if I pay more, right? That might be the thing.
Maybe.
Or some people hold fire to their agents. But the bottom line is this: if you have a good culture, which means you're helping cultivate pride and doing well and a great attitude and everything in your agency, there are only two motivating factors: either gain or loss of something, right?
There's no just there, right? It's not there.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, we all think that the motivating factors, then next week I'll give you this, or it's always like giving in that sense. But people are much more motivated away from like loss than they are from gain. Like they feel like they're going to, I don't want to have that conversation with Craig again. He's going to light me up, like, because I know I'm not doing it. Right. So that's where the whole inspecting comes in. Like if you're constantly inspecting all those areas of your agents, then they know like either A, I can make more by just doing this stuff and following the process, or B, I can do less of the process, but then I'm going to get in trouble because they're watching me. Right. So you got to have like those two forces on them consistently if you want to create the consistent sales. And what I talk to our managers about and stuff too is like everybody needs a coach. Even we need coaches. So you got to constantly coach your team and put those two opposing forces on them, the gain and the fire, right?
Right.
If you can put both those on them consistently, then they're going to consistently give you the results that you want.
Yeah. And I think that there has to be very, very clear definitions of what the expectations are, because we also we're in such a rush. There's a million things. We got so many things to do. Why can't they just figure it out? Well, they're not just going to figure it out, right? You got to lay down the exact framework. Do I need to say this part? Yes. The whole thing. You have to say the whole thing. Every single piece.
McDonald's doesn't do that. Starbucks doesn't do that. Any kind of organization doesn't do that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an organization, which is the key word is organized, right? So you have to organize that, give them a clear path, and quantify everything. It needs to be, these things are what you do. And if you don't do them, then you're not following the process. Going back to what we talked about a long time ago is you want to manage processes, not people. So just make sure that everything's got numbers and stuff to it so that you can quantifiably have a conversation rather than, I feel like you're not working hard.
Right.
Well, I feel like I am.
Right. Well,
I feel like I'm doing a great job.
At the end of the day, they're here for 8 hours, and that's 90% of it to them. Right. I was here. I didn't call in. So-and-so called in. Right. So you got to combat against that. It's like, okay, so there needs to be a framework to the day. What are the expectations? How many dials do you have to make? How many quotes do you need to have? How many of all of the things that end up getting to the outcome that you need as an organization in order to get the money that at the end of the year, that's going to fund the thing for the next year, right? Fund the growth. Like, I think that another misconception may be that you get this money as the payoff, and now it's time to go party. And I don't know that that's the best use of that, right? Like, we're trying to grow something that at some point we can exit or its legacy, we pass it on, whatever, but we want to maximize the size of that agency so that it's of value, right? It doesn't do any good, no matter what to tailor off of what you said before, the things we can't control, no matter what those non-controllable factors are, they are. Whatever they are. So we have to maximize how to grow within the constraints of the system that we're in.
Yep.
And in order to do that, everybody needs to know exactly what they need to do. We always go back to these sports things, like the quarterback knows the play. The center knows the play. The wide receiver knows the play. Like they don't just go out there and say, hut, hut, hike, and everybody sort of just wanders around. Like everybody's ultra clear on what they do, and there's a consequence and a known consequence if it doesn't happen. So a consequence here is don't follow the script, you don't get transfers. Guess what?
Right.
All of a sudden, they're following the script because they understand the consequence to not following the script. And if you don't get transfers, you don't sell. And if you don't sell, what happens? Adios amigos.
You die.
You die. You're gone.
Right.
Right. So
if you want help with everyday coaching, you got to jump on Daily Drills. Go to THEIDUDES.com, the iDudes. It has all of our stuff there, but we opened up something special for you and we're giving a discount right now. If you scroll down, you'll see Daily Drills. Click on there. Daily Drills. Every single day, you can have sales producers helping your team, your entire team, help with the coaching daily to get those kind of results that you want.
Yep. Live, right?
It'll help
every day, live.
Yeah. Every day.
And I don't think it's very expensive.
No. And we're running special.
And that's why
that's just
I think you don't have any problem talking about it because it's so ridiculous if you don't do it that it's just crazy talk.
I jumped in it today and it was freaking fire. It was awesome. Everybody's super engaged, and I excited to see the results from today's set because it is Friday buy day.
Oh yeah,
it's Friday buy day, and I
know that a couple of my guys were on it, and I think that they got fired up because we're having a pretty good day.
Love it. Well, so inspect what you expect. If you're not getting the expectations that you think that you should be getting, then inspect all the parts that led up to it, and I'm pretty sure you can figure out where the weak link is.
Yes. And if they want to text you, what number would they text you at?
520-214-2219.
2219.
But I would rather them go to the iDudes.com. Go there. Okay. It's our hub. Cool, we got all the stuff there. But go to Daily Drills. Check it out. I mean, you got to be a little bit curious. You got to know there's a few videos that'll give some value right off the top there. And we're going to be running. Curious. Oh, no, we're going to be past the challenge by the time this airs. But it doesn't matter. We got a super cool challenge, too, that happened in the past. And maybe we'll run it again.
Let's do one in November.
Anyways.
Movember. You going to grow a mustache for Movember? We're going to do that again? Oh, it was tough. Let's do it.
Okay, maybe.
We look
and that's
pretty
a coffee
good.
talk.
Yeah, coffee talk. Don't forget to subscribe.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to do write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes. It's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's
Okay.
520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.